Hello, 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 hello. Thank you for coming back to my channel today, or thank you for coming for the first time if you're new here. Tonight, I would like to take this personality test. I am someone who really enjoys learning more about my own personality and others' personalities and trying to find ways to better connect with other people who don't have the same personality type that I do. And this personality test is supposed to be one that really helps you do that, understand. It's used a lot in workplaces, I believe, to understand how to work with people who have the same or different personality type as you. So it's called the DiSC personality test, and DiSC stands for the 4 types of personalities that you can have, types in with this test. So the types are D for dominance, I for influence, C for compliance, and S for steadiness. So if you're a D personality type, some of the qualities that you will probably have are hardworking, expansive, calm, persuader, perfectionist, ordered, resentment, cautiousness, diplomatic, achiever, analytical, socially indirect. Those are just some. And then influence, following, impatient, establishing, want, peaceful, individualist, specialist, resolve, willing, results-oriented, and calculated. So that would be influence. Compliance, C, creative, controlled, counselor, enjoyment, willingness, patient, individualistic, uninhibited, impulsive, outgoing, and harmony. And then for the S, steadiness, practitioner, affinity, inspirational, enthusiast, cautious, tactful, coach, self-sufficient, independent, adaptable, measured, and peace. So those are some words that can be used to describe those personality types. But I think the test is gonna tell you more exactly about the type that you are. So what it is, we'll take the test now. There are groups of 4, and each of them has a description. Select the one that you consider most like you with a thumbs up, and then the one of the 4 that's the least like you with a thumbs down. So for each group of 4, you should only have 1 most like you and 1 least like you. So let's get started. There's 28 groups of 4 statements. So I'll leave the link to where I'm taking the test in the description box as well. So the first group of 4 statements are: people look up to me. I tend to be a kind person. I accept life as it comes. People say I have a strong personality. I would say the one least like me is that people say I have a strong personality. The one most like me is that I think I tend to be a kind person. That was kind of an obvious one for me, I think. So next, I find it difficult to relax. I have a very wide circle of friends. I'm always ready to help others. And I like to behave correctly. I think I would probably say the least like me The most like me is either I'm always ready to help others or I like to behave correctly. I think I would say I'm always ready to help others is the most like me. The least like me, I think, is I find it difficult to relax. I don't know which situation they're talking about. If it's like in a social situation, in that case, I find it pretty easy to relax. But in general, I don't usually sit down and relax. I like to try and find things to do, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to say that's the least like me. Next one, I tend to do what I'm told. I like things to be very neat and tidy. People can't put me down, and I enjoy having fun. I think the most like me is I tend to do what I'm told, I think. I do enjoy having fun very much, but I feel like that describes most people who doesn't enjoy having fun. So one particular to me is I tend to do what I'm told. The least like me is people can't put me down. I think I can be put down if I hear someone's opinion that's negative or something about me. It does bring me down. Okay. I respect my elders and those in authority. I'm always willing to do new things and to take a risk. I believe things will go well. I'm always willing to help. The least like me of those has got to be that I'm always willing to take a risk, because I'm not always willing to take a risk. It just depends, I guess. And either I believe things will go well or I'm always willing to help. I think I'm always willing to help. Probably. Because I don't know if I always think things will go well. But I'm always willing to help. I'm a neat and orderly person. I'm very active both at work and play. I'm a very calm and placid person. I generally get my own way. Least like me is I generally get my own way. Most like me is probably I'm a neat and orderly person. I'm very contented with life. I tend to trust people. I like peace and quiet. I have a very positive attitude. Most like me, I have a positive attitude, I think. Least like me is probably I like peace and quiet, because I do like peace and quiet, but just out of those, I mean, the other ones are just very true, and I think I don't need peace and quiet. I also enjoy being around people. Sometimes peace and quiet is a little bit sad. I don't know. Next is I have a great deal of willpower. I always take notice of what other people say. I try to be obliging, and I'm always cheerful. Least like me is I have a great deal of willpower. Most like me. Most like me is probably, it's honestly all three are true. I take notice of what other people say. I do. I'm always cheerful. I think I am. I try to be obliging. I feel like I try to be obliging is the most like me, probably. I'm self-confident. People say I'm a sympathetic type. I have a tolerant attitude towards life. I'm an assertive person. I think I'm an assertive person is least like me. Probably being sympathetic is the most like me. Next, I never lose my temper. I like things to be precise and correct. I'm very sure of myself. I enjoy having a laugh and a joke. I think probably the most like me is that I don't lose my temper, And the least like me is that I'm very sure of myself. Next, my behavior is well disciplined. People see me as being helpful. I'm always on the move. I persevere until I get what I want. Least like me is definitely I persevere until I get what I want. The most like me is people see me as being helpful, probably. Next, I enjoy competition. I don't treat life too seriously. I always consider others. I am an agreeable type. I think I'm an agreeable type is me. I enjoy competition is not me. Next is I'm very persuasive. I see myself as a gentle person. I'm a very modest type. I often come up with an original idea. The least like me for that is that I'm very persuasive. I don't find myself to try to persuade people that often. And I see myself as a gentle person is most like me. Next, I'm very helpful towards others. I don't like tempting fate. I don't give up easily. People like my company. I think least like, I'm helpful towards others is most like me, I think. I don't like tempting fate. Must be the least like me, I guess. I don't know. Just out of those options. I tend to be a cautious person. I'm a very determined person. I'm good at convincing people. I tend to be a friendly person. I think I tend to be a friendly person. I'm not that great at convincing people per se. Okay, next, I don't scare easily. People find my company stimulating. I'm always willing to follow orders. I'm a rather shy person. The least like me is probably that I don't scare easily. I'm always willing to follow orders, and I'm a rather shy person. I think most like me is that I'm always willing to follow orders. I'm very willing to change my opinion. I like a good argument. I tend to be an easygoing type. I always look on the bright side of life. I think least like me is that I like a good argument. Most like me is either I tend to be easygoing or I look on the bright side of life. Probably just I tend to be easygoing. Next, I'm a very social sort of person. I'm very patient. I'm a very self-sufficient sort of person. I rarely raise my voice. Least like me is that I'm very social. I would say I'm social, but usually like blend in with the crowd versus be super outgoing. The most like me is probably that I'm very patient. Next, I'm always ready and willing. I'm always keen to try new things. I don't like arguments. People describe me as high-spirited. I think I don't like arguments. I think maybe people describe me as high-spirited. Least like me is I'm always keen to try new things. I usually am, but just out of those ones, I don't know. I enjoy taking a chance. I tend to be very receptive to other people's ideas. I'm always polite and courteous. I'm a moderate rather than an extreme person. Least like me is I enjoy taking a chance. Most like me is probably I'm always polite and courteous. Because I find when whatever situation I'm in, I'm usually the one who's the most polite. Next, I tend to be a forgiving type. I'm a sensitive person. I have a lot of energy and vigor, and I can mix with anybody. Probably the least like me is that I have a lot of energy and vigor. Most like me is I tend to be forgiving, I think. Next, I enjoy chatting with people. I control my emotions. I'm very conventional in my outlook. I make decisions quickly. Least like me is definitely I make decisions quickly. Most like me is probably I enjoy chatting with people, I guess. Out of those, I tend to keep my feelings to myself. Accuracy is very important to me. I like to speak my mind, and I'm very friendly. I think I like to speak my mind is the least like me. And the most like me is I tend to keep my feelings to myself. I like to handle things with diplomacy. I'm very daring. Most people find me acceptable. I feel satisfied with life. I think least like me is I'm very daring. Most like me is probably I feel very satisfied with life. Next, I'm obedient. I'm always willing to have a go. Loyalty is one of my strengths. I have a good deal of charm. I think loyalty is one of my strengths. I do not have a good deal of charm. I tend to be an aggressive type. I'm good fun and have a lot of personality. People tend to see me as an easy touch. I tend to be rather timid. I tend to be rather timid, and I do not tend to be an aggressive type. I'm good at motivating people. Patience is one of my major strengths. I'm careful to say the right thing. I have a strong desire to win. Least like me is having a strong desire to win. And the most like me is maybe either I'm careful to say the right thing or patience is one of my major strengths. Probably I'm careful to say the right thing. People find me easy to get along with. I get a lot of satisfaction from helping others. I always think things through. And I prefer to get things done now rather than later. Oh, that's one that they're all me. Probably the most like me is I prefer to get things done now rather than later. Least like me would maybe be I always think things through. I'm good at analyzing situations. I get restless easy. I think about how my decisions might affect others. People see me as relaxed and easygoing. I think most like me is probably I think about how my decisions might affect others. Least like me is I get restless quickly. All right. And it's just asking for my age, things like that, personal details for the test. My country is Canada, wherever that is. There we go. Educational level. There. Okay. All right. So I got my personality type is S, Steadiness, 56%, followed by C, Compliance, 27%, followed by C, Influence, 12%, and followed by D, Dominance, 4% only. So I'm mostly Steadiness. So it says, dominance describes the way you deal with problems, assert yourself, and control situations. Influence describes the way you deal with people, the way you communicate and relate to others. Steadiness describes your temperament, patience, persistence, and thoughtfulness. And compliance describes how you approach and organize your activity, procedures, and responsibilities. Okay, so I'll just read a little bit more about my type, which was S for steadiness, and you can do more research into the personality type that you came up with for you. And you can buy a report, but you can also find a lot of free information on that type online. So S stands for steadiness. People with the DiSC S style personality tend to place an emphasis on cooperating with others within existing circumstances to carry out a task. They're known as the peacekeeper. They're motivated by cooperation, opportunities to help, and sincere appreciation. They prioritize giving support, collaborating, and maintaining stability, and are often described as calm, patient, predictable, deliberate, stable, and consistent. Some of the S-style fears are change, loss of stability, offending others, letting people down. Some of their values are loyalty, helping others, and security. Some of their overuses are modesty, passive resistance, and compromise. And they influence others by accommodation and consistent performance. In conflict, they listen to others' perspectives and keep their own needs to themselves. They could improve effectiveness through displaying more self-confidence and revealing their true feelings. So I have learned a lot from this, I think, because I've taken this test before and I've gotten the full report, and it tells you how to work with other people and with other personality types. And it was saying that, like, where you might appreciate someone who's patient and cooperative and easygoing as someone with that personality type, because that's how you are, you have to remember that not everyone has that personality type. And if you're working with someone at work or school or whatever who might have a D personality type, they really enjoy and appreciate when people speak their mind, and they really respect that. And they don't like when people are super go with the flow or don't say what they really want. So you have to remember, like, just because that's how you feel, if you're working with other people with different personality types, it helps to know what they appreciate and to remember that it might be different to what you appreciate in others. So that's really interesting. So if you feel like getting the report, it definitely can help in work or school situations. But like I said, you can also find a lot just for free online. So some S-style goals. S-styles tend to have goals such as cultivating harmony and stability, striving for team accomplishments, finding group acceptance, achieving power through formal roles and positions of authority, and maintaining the status quo and control of the environment. S-style challenges, they may tend to expend more energy to quickly adapt to change or unclear expectations, multitask, promote themselves, confront others, overcome indecisiveness, resist over accommodation. And the S-style in leadership says that S-style leaders are natural collaborators who like to reach consensus and create win-win situations. However, they can sometimes be passive and overly trusting, letting others take advantage of their supportive and patient nature. S-styles often display leadership characteristics such as these: inclusive, humble, and affirming. So that is the DiSC personality test. It's really helpful just to learn a little bit more about yourself, and it's always fun to read all about your style, but it's also really helpful in work or school situations where you're collaborating with others who have different personality types than you. It can help you learn how to work with others and how to make the most out of your experience, get the most work done, be the most productive, get along the best with others. So it's definitely worth looking into, I think, if you're someone who works with other people for work or school or what have you, or if you're just interested in learning a little bit more about yourself. That's always fun as well. So let me know if you decided to take the test and what personality style you are. I'll be really interested to know. If anyone else is an S, I think it's quite rare because I took it in my class of, I want to say maybe 50 people or so. And I think there might have been a couple who were like a combination S or like leaning towards S, but I was one of the only, if not the only S in the room. So, yeah, I'd be interested to know if there are any of you who are also an S. So that's that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want me to go more in depth with the report that I have, it's really long. I can definitely do another video on that if you would be interested in knowing how the different personality types work together in a work environment and that without actually buying the report, then I can do that for you. Just let me know. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great week. I'll talk to you really soon.